Let's look at what happened. We start things off. He's racing the 42 of Ross Chastain.
Yeah, and I think that we didn't see the beginning of this, but Kyle ends up having to check up. He's going to get into the wall, and Ross Chastain gets into the back of him and sends him for a ride.
Yeah, and I mean, that was not the only problem that he had in this race, and I know Larry's going to break that down in more detail in a moment. First, though, let's go to pit road after the race. Well, what are they saying here?
This is always interesting because you can tell Kyle's furious. Ross is just kind of taking it, and then Matt DiBenedetto's like, hey, I'll step in. Anybody? Hey, you need any help? Look at these.
I'll just finish my
Look at these
here.
biceps.
Yeah.
You see these?
Matt's like, hey, I didn't finish in the top 10. I'm not happy. Does somebody want to fight? Okay.
Dylan, as we go through the field, we find Martin Truex Jr. in the 4th position, and it could be back-to-back top 10s for that race team, and the 3rd today. So he's only had 2 top 10s since he finished the win at Darlington. So Truex could get a much-needed run. And remember, they've come through the field 3 times today. So Truex up in 4th. Meanwhile, Tyler Reddick said it took off great on this run and doing, as we mentioned earlier, everything he needs to do to be in the playoffs. Last week, they gained the most points. Today, here at Atlanta, it looks like they'll gain the 5th most points. The battle for the lead heating up, though, Rick.
So the 42 car is now taking that high side, trying to take the line away from the 18, and look at what it does. The 1 car, Kurt Busch, drives right up to the inside of the 18. Kyle Busch off turn 4, a battle for the lead.
Door to door as they race into turn 1, and we knew lap traffic was going to come into play.
A little contact.
Oh, side by side. Kyle trying to take the air off of Kurt.
He doesn't want to take too much off. He doesn't want him sliding up the racetrack into him.
This right here is where Kurt, if he can keep to that left rear quarter panel, he'll have an advantage, but there's a lap car in front of him on the bottom. Where does the lap car go? That's where Kurt wants the bottom of 3 and 4. He will clear his brother here.
2nd place for Kyle today to your brother. What was the difference?
Just same as always. We just don't have enough front end with laps on tires. You know, I had everything I had there early and then just smoked it behind the 42, obviously. Shows you what kind of driver he is.
Blaney was the first of the 2 stoppers to make that 2nd stop. And
Excuse me, coming through.
Yeah, Blaney carried him up the racetrack there.
Still there, corner clear, in line, right with you. Back inside, clear by 2 to the bottom, 1 back bottom, half bottom to 9, half, whatever you need to do, by 2. Should have sent that in the wall. He's going to get sent, so. We got to take care of our stuff, still got to be smart. We wanted to race for the 1 very much longer, so won't have to worry about that. Copy, just be smart.
You had contact with the 1. You guys kind of what take me through that, or is that
I have no idea. I was inside of him in the 3, and I kind of got loose and washed up half lane, but never touched, and went down into 1, and he just decided to send me. So the next restart, I sent him. So now we're even, I guess.
Hey, let's get to Ross Chastain. We saw on the big board he had a really good day again, another top 5 finish, but the final lap, he's going at it with Martin Truex Jr. Truex gets spun around here. What do you see, Jamie?
Weirdest wreck ever. It's the last lap coming off of turn 2. It looked like Martin maybe had a little bit of a run on Ross. Ross slid up in front of him, said he should have given him a lane. Martin's obviously mad because he wrecks and doesn't get the finish he wanted, but I think Ross has a reputation of racing really hard, and so these are different. This is kind of the situation you get put in when you race that way.
Ross has been all over the back of Denny, and he finally just runs into him.
He definitely moved him. Probably frustration. He was door to door with him a lot of times, got under him several times, could not make the pass. He finally made the pass. That's not going to be, Denny is not going to be happy about that.
Are y'all going to say it or me?
Go ahead.
Okay. The 11 is waiting on Ross Chastain, I believe.
Or is he?
Here we go.
Yes, he might be.
Here we go. Oh.
Wow, there on you tight, really
tight. It was a show.
He ran down the racetrack and then tried to get to him. Obviously, the handling's down. You knew he was going to show his displeasure.
Maybe is that all he showed? So, is that it?
Well, that was the first stab at it.
And they have a history together. Jamie.
Well, Ross Chastain and Spotter and crew chief were all on board. They said, all right, what do you guys think? And Ross said, surely he won't. They said, time it out right and try to get around them. Regan?
Well, Jamie, right before we saw what just happened down there in the corner, I checked with the 11 team. They said that he absolutely did not have an issue in the corner. They felt like they had just gotten run into is all that took place. And based on Denny's reaction, I'd say that that's how he feels.
We are intensely watching.
Well, let's listen to this.
This is number 11.
35 back to the 2 and 1. The tower just said they think you made your point. You're right.
And that puts a period on that.
Here we go. Round 3.
Well, we'll keep an eye on this as Kyle Busch leads Joey Logano by a 1.5 seconds. Ryan Blaney another 1.5 seconds back.
Clint, here they are. What do you think?
Timing's a little bit better, but Chastain may wreck him again.
This is good.
He's definitely messing with him.
Inside.
Held him up about as long as he could.
He just
around goes the 9, Chase Elliott. Just had talked about how he got back in this race.
I was just going to say, it amazes me that they can go through their 4 wide like that.
When they can.
Tells me we're going to have to go back and watch this replay. I think the 1 car had something to do with this.
You mean the car that is right up Chase Elliott's left rear? Oh.
They were 3 wide. Just got into the left rear quarter panel, turning around.
Oh, Harrison Burton slides into Chase.
Hamlin and Chastain are just going to end up side by side on this restart just by chance. Hamlin 9 laps down and Chastain one of the last cars on the lead lap ahead of BJ McLeod, who got the free pass.
And right behind Ross is his other buddy.
Tell me
Chase
the Lord
Elliott
don't have a sense of humor. How does that work?
There's Chase right there with him.
This could be almost as fun as the front of the pack, where Michael McDowell and Eric Almirola share the front row. Christopher Bell, Tyler Reddick, Eric Jones, Kevin Harvick. Here we go.
It's going to be wild again, Mike.
Well, Denny didn't, but
oh, jeez!
What a double!
It's a double on
a tag team.
It's the worst case scenario. Both cars you wrecked start side by side to you.
Meanwhile, back at the lead, Michael McDowell takes off from Eric Almirola and Christopher Bell.
It ain't over, Mike.
Nope.
One still got to pass Denny.
And Denny's not giving him any room at all.
I'm going to tell you what, this is a show.
No, there's only one solution to this. Park them both.
What are you going to do about Chase?
But look at the enjoyment we're getting.
Yeah. Tell you, man, nothing behind you guys here.
After Chase and Denny, you know, fighting over the years and having trouble, now the fans are both. I'm telling you, the 1 is still having trouble.
Hey, now, Chase, remember,
Hamlin.
The 1, if he is considered to have been damaged in that crash, he has 3 laps to make minimum speed, or they'll park him.
Look at the fans. Everybody
out of the way, man.
is watching this.
Take care of your nose.
That's Brandon McReynolds.
He said, push him out of your way, man.
The 1 spotter. He's got 3 laps to get up to minimum speed, or NASCAR will pull his scoring card, as they did last week with Bubba Wallace.
I wonder if they've mentioned that or thought of that, the team.
Jamie?
And Michael, right when you asked that question, the 1 team got on the radio and said, remember, we have to clear the clock here.
Well, he finally made the pass, so he can clear the clock.
So on the restart, Chase Elliott was right on Chastain's bumper, and Denny Hamlin to his inside. No friends.
Oh, my Lord.
That's why you don't poke the bear right there. And I hate to say it, but that's what happens. There's consequences to every action. And unfortunately, Ross Chastain is experiencing those consequences.
And that wasn't all. This continued for about a lap and a half.
Almost so bad that he didn't make minimum speed like
right. Kyle Larson and Ross Chastain, and see what transpired.
Well, Ross just blocks. The easiest way to stay ahead of a guy is run a faster lap time than him. But Ross unfortunately spends way more time looking in his mirror and moving around to put his car in front of everybody else than worrying about going fast. And he's fast enough to do it. He just has to get in the mindset that he doesn't have to spend every lap changing lines to keep somebody from getting around him. Talented driver.